All right. First of all, I'm excited to share some information about some of the local marketing, in particular Google plus local, that's going on. Before I go too much further, I'd like to thank Lloyd for this chance to get a chance to talk with you guys here today. And I'd like to give you a little bit of feedback on who I am. First of all, my name's Thad Winston. I'm an author, speaker, strategic online and offline marketing business coach, specializing in building profits for small to medium-sized business owners just like yourself. The book that I was published in was, I'm a co-author with Dan Kennedy, and the book was titled No BS Wealth Attraction for Entrepreneurs. So I've got a very deep history in marketing. I have a long history with Lloyd, and I'm excited to share this information with you today. So let's go ahead and get started. So what we're going to be talking about here today is what in the world is Google cooking up for small business owners? It seems as though there's all these different changes that are out there on the front as far as local marketing is concerned, and the leader at this point in time in the marketplace is Google. And we're going to be talking about what you need to be aware of, what the changes that have occurred, and what I think is probably going to be occurring, as well as the things that you need to do in order to be able to maximize your schools for the upcoming massive changes that I'm telling you are going to be happening here real soon. So this is what most people would say that Google is cooking up. Most people would have this small vision of thinking that Google Plus is really just a battle or an answer to Facebook. And on one front, people are correct. But the reality is the big picture, the overriding picture that Google is looking to do, it comes down to what they have actually put in their mission statement. And when you read Google's written mission statement, the key words in that mission statement is they want to organize the information of the world. Now, I capitalized world on purpose. So let me translate a little bit for you what this really means. That those are what the words are saying, but what's the real meaning behind it? And look closely and you will discover exactly what they're doing. Now, take a look at this picture. Read what it says on the wall. Now, the closer you look at this picture, you're going to recognize that's not a cubicle. It's someplace that you don't have a choice about going to, and that's kind of how Google is positioning themselves in relation to small businesses. They are putting themselves in a place where you have to use them. They're providing stuff to you that's free right now. But as you look at the sign on the wall, that's the direction that I believe that Google is trying to take small business owners. And reality is that's not necessarily a bad thing, as you're going to discover here very shortly, especially if you're going to be on the forefront and you're going to be the ones out there learning what's coming down the pipeline. And that way you'll be able to take complete advantage of what Google is attempting to do here. So you really need to get on board, and it really has nothing to do with whether you like Google or dislike Google or like any of the other local marketing things that are going on out there. What this has to do with, it has everything to do with you thriving versus surviving. So if you haven't jumped on board yet, then you got to recognize what Einstein said, and that is we cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. So by burying your head in the sand and acting as though you don't really need to take advantage of the local marketing or get involved in local marketing or all these other excuses that you've been making, reality is if you don't jump on board right now, you're going to get wiped out. So if change pisses you off, then you're going to be blowing your top with what's coming down the pipeline. The first big change of many to come was the change from Google Places to what is now called Google Plus Local. So let's take a little more in-depth look at what Google Plus Local is. Google Plus Local is really the genesis. Google Plus Local, I wouldn't say the genesis, let me back up. It's really the beginning. It's the infancy of what Google is looking to put in place as far as small business owners are concerned. And this picture was taken from the Wall Street Journal, where there was a great write-up and they talked about the vision that Google has. Now, this vision is coming to fruition extremely fast. Matter of fact, there's a very real chance that by the time you see me at Lloyd's upcoming event, that most of these pieces of this puzzle will already be in play, because as we're talking to you right now, most of these pieces of the puzzle are in play in different regions of the United States. So let's walk through this, and a lot of these are going to have some direct application for you and your school, and some of the things you're going to have to be creative in looking at how you can start to utilize them for your school. And those are the things that Lloyd is going to be coming out down the pipeline, because as you can understand, Lloyd's always going to be on the cutting edge of these type of things. So Google Plus Local is what we've been talking about. And that's basically your online pages where local businesses interact with their customers, showing them special offers and discounts. The AdWords Express used to be called Boost. And they might come out with another name here very shortly. It's basically the program that's just like your AdWords campaign, but it's related specifically to your Google Plus Local. Now, Google Offers is Google's answer to Groupon. Google tried to buy Groupon a little bit over 2 years ago, maybe a little bit less than that time of that, and Groupon basically spurned their advances. So Google went out and created Google Offers, which is now a rival for Groupon, and it gives you an opportunity to put some discount offers out there. And what it does, it's a great way to generate traffic back to your site. Google also has in place, all these pieces of the puzzle are in place. They already own all these pieces. These aren't things that they're looking and hoping to do. These are things that are already in their basket of things that they have in store for local business owners. They have a delivery service that's already in place. They have TalkBin. Now, TalkBin has already been launched in I think it's out in San Francisco and some of the other places in other regions, and it allows in-store customers to send feedback via text messages to the company that they're in, and they send it to them anonymously. So it's real-time feedback as to what they're experiencing while in the store. So let's translate that to you as a school owner. That is, somebody comes in, if they have a positive experience, they can provide some feedback to you immediately. Equally important, if they're having a negative experience, they will feel free and uninhibited to provide that type of feedback to you via TalkBin, because it comes to you in an anonymous fashion. So that's very, very excellent for you in terms of real-time feedback for your school. There's also Google Wallet, which lets people pay for any goods or services that you might be providing down the pipeline, as well as Punched, which is basically an in-store customer rack-up loyalty points type of program, which I see some very, very strong applications for school owners who are going to be progressive, that are going to tie into these type of applications, because I really think this is the wave of the future. It's a way to get your customers interacting with you, you getting real-time feedback, and then you're also getting them to create an element of loyalty, even more loyalty to your school, because of some of the loyalty points that can be coming down the pipeline with an application such as Punched. So that's the big screen. That's the big picture that Google is painting. But let's narrow it back down to what we're going to be talking about here. So as you can see, it's a bigger picture than just Facebook versus Google. And with all of these facts, this lets you know that Google Plus is here to stay. So it's critical that you get on board. Many of you that are listening to this right now, you were at one of Lloyd's earlier events when I spoke, and I was telling you at that point in time, you need to jump on board with Google Plus. And I'm excited to tell you, I was excited to discover that a number of you guys heeded my advice, and this puts you way ahead of the game. But for those of you who heard me at the other event and you didn't jump on board, you really need to jump on board right now. And for those of you who haven't had a chance to hear me speak, I can promise you this: you will get tons and tons of information when you come to Lloyd's event and when you hear me speak about all of the different changes that are coming down the pipeline in terms of the local marketing landscape. It is a must-see event. All the other speakers, as well as myself, we're going to be sharing with you information that is absolutely groundbreaking, and it's going to put money in your pocket. So here's why Google Plus is a vital element for you as far as a school owner, and it relates to real estate. The mantra in real estate has always been there's 3 keys to making money in real estate, and those 3 keys are location, location, location. Now, right now you might be scratching your head saying, what in the world is Thad talking about? Here's what I'm talking about. As you look at that picture on your screen there, you'll see the bright red glow. The bright red glow, what this is called a heat map. And this is technology that tells people, that tells site owners where users are focusing their eyes and where they are clicking. And as you can see, the bright biggest glows are at the top of the screen. So in other words, position 1 gets over 40% of the clicks that are going to occur on a website. Now, some studies have shown that over 80% of clicks will occur in the positions 1 through 3. And as you can see on this heat map, the glow gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller the further you go down the page. So if you're buried in the bottom of a page, even if you're on page 1, then you really are buried. And the information that I'm going to be sharing at Lloyd's upcoming event is going to give you all the resources, all the knowledge, all the keys, all the tricks, all the stealth things that you need to do to cause your Google Plus local page to gravitate, levitate to the top of the rankings. And that means more money for you, because the clicks are what you're after. And the clicks, if they get to your site, get to your information and give you the best chance for conversion, then eventually that means money in your pocket. So let's get started with a bit more information. What exactly is Google Plus Local? And what I have here is I've basically copy and pasted what the Google Places Forum Manager explained what Google Plus Local page is. And that is this. It has all the social features available of Google Plus users, meaning Hangouts, sharing of circles, video uploads, etc. A local Google Plus page is just a new look to the Google Places listing, minus the social features. So those social features are coming soon, as I mentioned in my original post above. Now, that's a quote from the Google Places Forum Manager. So that gives you a really clear and concise picture of what Google Plus Local really is. So let's take a look at what really changed. Here's a brief overview of what's changed. There is a new local tab in the Google Plus landscape, making it another area for users to search for a local destination. That's a new change. The Google Plus local pages will be seen in Google Search, Maps, and Mobile. I'm going to read that again because that one has slipped by most people, and it's not going to slip by you because I'm going to dig deeper into this one. Google Plus local pages will be seen in Google Search. It'll show up on the Maps as well as in Mobile. I'm going to dig in deeper on that one in a little bit. So Google Plus Local now enables businesses to be more social, allowing businesses to use the same social tools found in the Google Plus profile. And this includes, as I mentioned earlier, the post of videos, the photos, the ability to host Hangouts, and find and filter businesses based on reviews, recommendations from family, friends, and in your circles. So I'm not going to be going in depth on this video about how that's a real key for you, but the reality is with this new setup you can get your current your current students to go onto your Google Plus local page, and you can actually sort them by circles. You can sort them maybe by rank, you can sort them by tenure at the school, whatever. Now keep in mind, when you sort, they won't know where you've sorted them, but you will. Now, once you've gone on Google Plus, you will then see that you can put people in circles, and then you can communicate to only the people that you have in specific circles. So following this analogy further, let's say that you have all of your students go online and register and get put in circles with your Google Plus. Now, if you want to send a message to only your white belts, you can do that through Google Plus. If you want to send a message to only your black belts, or if you want to send a message to only your medal chasers, like what Lloyd talks about, there's a number of different applications that you can have with this. In addition to that, you can put people who are prospective, who are no longer with your school at this point in time, or prospective students for your school. You can put them in circles and send specific messages to them, or have specific hangouts, send out messages to them saying, hey, I'm going to be talking about some of the different things, reasons why you should be wanting to come to our school because of some of the new changes that are coming down the pipeline. So it has a myriad of opportunities there for you, and it's really, really a powerful application. Another big change is the Zagat reviews that Google has adopted. In other words, the 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 stars are no longer there for reviews. Now, I will tell you this, and this is a little bit of a teaser for you. There are ways that you can make the stars show back up. And most people's eyes are drawn to those stars. And it's going to take a little while for the Zagat review system to catch on. If they take a look at your reviews and see that you have a 25 out of 30, what the heck does that mean? Is that an A? Is that a B? Is that a C? Is that an F? Is that average? Is that normal? Is that better than normal? Whereas if it were the 5 stars, people can immediately know what that means. So I'm going to be sharing some tips on how you can get the 5 stars back into your review process. But as of right now, with the Google reviews, they've adopted, because actually they own Zagat. They purchased them a little while ago, and now there's a 30-point rating scale, and there's going to be a learning curve for people to really get adopted to that new scale. So the other thing that's changed is the reviews are now going to be added through Google Plus user accounts. Now, this means I think this is extremely positive, because I've seen some school owners have some reviews put on their about their school, and people were pansies. They wouldn't say who they are. They have this anonymous name, and they're writing nasty stuff about your school. Well, those days are gone, because if you're going to write a review, Google is going to know who you are, and now, of course, there are ways to game the system there too, but Google is going to be watching for that, and they will be able to remove that type of information out there. So the point is this: reviews are no longer going to be anonymous. Now, the good part of that is you won't get this negative stuff, because people are typically will not want to be associated with a negative review and have their face and their name out there for that. And the bad part of that is sometimes people may not be inclined to do a review because they want to hold on to their privacy or whatever reason. So there are some things that we could do to help overcome that. We're going to be talking about some of the proven ways to increase your reviews, but this new feature is a real positive thing in terms of the overall landscape. And I will say this, and remember this is critical. Reviews can put money and take money away from you more than anything else that is out there in the landscape online right now. Don't forget that. So what stayed the same? The algorithm stayed the same. Translation means the way that your Google Places page was ranking. If your Google Places page was typically ranking first, your Google Plus local page will be following that same type of ranking, because the algorithm that had your Google Places pages ranking high is the exact same algorithm that's in place for the Google Plus local. And I did validate that with some independent testing. So, and the other thing that stayed the same is the interface is going to be the same. So in other words, if you need to update your Google Plus local page, you'll go in, you'll either create your page and or claim it. If you had to delete it or edit it, you're going to use the old Google Places dashboard, just like you used to do with Google Places. So I would expect that there's going to be some changes and maybe a little bit more facelift in the future as far as the dashboard is concerned. But at this point in time, it's literally the exact same dashboard as what you had with your Google Places. So that's what stayed the same. So why in my mind do I see this as a great thing as far as the overall change? And here are 5 big reasons why the conversion from Google Places to Google Plus Local is great for you. It's great for your students, and it's great for you overall as far as your business is concerned. And number 1, it's the enhanced layout. The previous Google Places page, as you would understand, was extremely, frankly, ugly. It was boring. It was static. It didn't give you much opportunity to have any kind of visual engagement. And that really has changed with the Google Plus local format. Number 2, control. while business owners are still going to edit and update listings via the dashboard, the conversion does give businesses more of a visual control over their branding, their images, their albums, their videos, their posts, and eventually the hangouts that you'll have and all the interactions that you'll be able to create as far as the different features of Google+. That is a huge, huge, huge change. Of course, the major plus, and obviously that pun is intended, is the eventual inclusion of all the social networking that's associated. Now, folks, write this down. Social buzz. The social aspect of search engine optimization is only going to continue to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Translation: if you are not engaging your customers via social media, then you are going to get left behind. And this format does give you, as a business owner, a forum to post content, develop followers, message your customers like what I was talking about earlier, message your students. And it's really the ways that you've seen. And the best example I can give you is actually Lloyd. And most of you who are obviously watching this, you've probably seen Lloyd doing his posting on Facebook. He's done everything from, hey, I've got some time, shoot me some questions, to, hey, this might be controversial, to promoting what's coming up as far as his next UFC fighter, to talking about his son and him and little Lloyd doing different things as far as the school is concerned, or some of the stuff that goes on in his household. So in other words, there's engagement. You know a lot about Lloyd Irvin, the fighter. You know a lot about Lloyd Irvin, the school owner. You know a lot about Lloyd Irvin, the coach. And you get to know about Lloyd Irvin, the father. You get to know about Lloyd Irvin, the husband. All of these things are very, very important in terms of engagement as far as social media is concerned, because those are the signals that Google is looking for. And I'm going to touch extremely briefly about one of the key components of Google's future growth in terms of what you need to adopt as far as a business owner. And it's under the concept of what's called authorship. So as Lloyd is doing all these different things, his name is getting put out there, and it's only building credibility for him in terms of his niche. And by virtue of what's called Google authorship, or rel equals author, for those of you who did see me speak last time, I pounded this one into the ground. Rel equals author. I always tell everybody Google is synonymous to the word relevance. So when you do a Google search, what they're trying to do is trying to give you the most relevant result from that search. And via authorship, Google now wants to give you even more personalized, relevant results. And if you can get your name out there as an authority via your authorship, that's going to give you a chance to have an even bigger voice online, which is going to translate into more powerful rankings for your personal website, for your business website via your authorship. I'm not going to go any further into that. And if I put some bubbles in your think tank, you need to make sure you're at the upcoming event, because I'm going to be talking about this at a very, very high level, so that when you leave, you will be equipped to go out there and absolutely slay this concept. And I'm telling you right now, your competitors, unless they're going to be in the room, they're not going to be on top of this kind of stuff, and they're going to wonder what in the world you're doing to make these type of things happen. And that's why you really need to be at this upcoming event. So the other thing is the reviews that I think is powerful is Zagat scores let reviewers elaborate on the overall consumer experience. In other words, Zagat contains separate scores for, in the restaurant category, they'll talk about food, service, atmosphere. And eventually what will transpire is Zagat will morph their reviews to be more industry specific. So I would perceive that eventually in your schools, there will be categories like cleanliness of the school, professionalism of the folks. Hold on a second, I need to take a sip of water here, folks. Unlike Greg Davis, I do not have a bottle of Patron right here to the side. And if you don't know who Greg Davis is, make sure that you come to the event because you'll get a chance to see this guy. He's amazing. He blows me away. Every time I talk to him, I just scratch my head and think this guy is truly a true marketing genius. So, in other words, back on Zagat, you will be able to have different categories that will evolve as a result of the different industries. So this is a way that's going to give your students or prospective students a way to get a real flavor for what's going on in your school. That's very, very important. Now, the fifth thing is SEO. Now, I said I was going to come back to this in a moment, and this is what I was talking about in terms of your overall Google Plus local page versus the old Google Places page. You may or may not know it, but the old Google Places pages were blocked from showing up in the actual search results. But, and this is huge, your new Google Plus local page is going to be indexed. Translation: your actual Google Plus page can show up in the organic search results. That's a powerful, huge, big change that was not available to you with Google Places. We're going to be talking about that in depth a lot at the event. So with inbound links galore, as you know, Google has a tendency to love their own properties and products. What this means is it gives your Google Plus local page a way that it could actually outrank maybe some small business websites that are right there in your backyard, and you can have your website, your school website, you can have your Google Plus local listing as well as your Google Plus local page ranking high on the first page. And once again, as I was talking about, location, location, location. So what if you could get your Google Plus local page as well as your Google Plus local listing as well as your personal business page to rank 1, 2, 3. Now you're going to be getting close to 80% of the clicks that are occurring on page 1. That's a huge opportunity, and we're going to be talking about ways for you to be able to try to do just that at the upcoming event. So what I want to do now is I want to kind of slow down a little bit and give you some of the tips that you can act on right now that's going to help you with your Google Plus local page and your overall search engine optimization, SEO optimization, and help you remove some of the excuses for not getting to the top of the rankings and give you just a taste of what I'm going to be sharing at Lloyd's upcoming event. So if you don't have paper and pencil or something to write with or something to write on right now, here's where you want to probably run and grab something to take notes, because we're going to be sharing some feedback and some real world information that you can go out and take effect on right now. So let me jump on this. We're going to be removing excuses for you not to get to the top of Google Plus local. Or at least I'm going to be sharing some of the stuff that you need to be acting on, and you can start taking action right now. Before you come to the event, go ahead and start working on these things right now. At the event, I'm going to be revealing over 75 of the top citation places that you must have your school listed in if you want to be get your Google Plus local page to levitate to the top. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with what a citation is just this, and write this down. Citation means name, address, and phone number. It's those three things: the name of your school, the address of your school, and the phone number of your school. Now, what I'm about to tell you is critical. The consistency of your name, address, and phone number can dramatically impact how well your Google Plus local page will rank. In other words, if the name of your school is Team Lloyd Irvin, and if your address is 123 Main Street and your phone number is 301-111-1111, you need for that exact description, the citation, the name, address, and phone number, it needs to be showing up in these various locations that I'm going to be sharing some of them here very shortly, but it must be in there in the exact same manner every time. For example, if one time it says 123 Main Street, and street is spelled out S-T-R-E-E-T. The other time it's 123 Main Street and it's abbreviated S-T. And the other time it's 123 Main Street and it's abbreviated S-T, but there's a period at the end of S-T. Then that would be considered 3 different citations. 3 different name, address, phone numbers. And what that does is that dilutes the power of the locations of your citations. And what Google's algorithm does is it goes out there in the internet and it says, how many places will I find this name, address, and phone number? And the more places I find this name, address, and phone number, in other words, the more citations that are out there, then Google's algorithm says that this particular school must have a higher element of relevance because it's showing up everywhere. Therefore, we need to move this Google Plus local ranking up higher than the one who, let's say, for example, if you have 50 citations and somebody else has 30 citations, the chances of your Google Plus local page, as well as some other factors that I'm going to be talking about here, that pushes your Google Plus local page up higher than theirs because of the number of citations that you have out there. Now, the natural question most people always ask me is they say, Thad, how many citations should I have out there? And my answer is always, how much money would you like to have? Do you ever have enough? Now, some people will say, yes, I do have enough money. Well, you can stop listening right now because I'm not talking to you. But if you don't have enough money, then you don't have enough citations. Building citations should be an ongoing process. Make it a process, not a project. Now, if you don't have anything out there, you need to make it a project and make it project quick. And I'm going to be talking about the ways to expedite this type of process at the upcoming event. But if you do have them out there, then you need to systematically, consistently, ongoing, be adding your name, address, phone number in as many relevant, and also it could also be non-relevant sites as far as citations are concerned. So, as I stated, I'm going to be sharing over 75 of the top citation locations that you need to be listed in. And what I'm going to do now is share with you a number of those locations for you to write down right now and start adding your information, your name, address, phone number, which means you need to go to these locations if they are in your region. And some of them may not be in your region. Some of these sites you have to pay a fee for. If you don't want to pay a fee, don't do it. Then you just only go to the ones that are free. And yes, you can rank extremely, extremely high with only the free ones. But if you are in a neck-and-neck battle with a competitor and they're not utilizing the paid ones and you are, well, guess what? That's going to probably give you an advantage. So here's some of the ones that you probably want to have your school listed in. And I am not giving you the top ones right now because I will be sharing the top ones at the event, but these are all very, very important. So here's one. Yellow Wikis. Yellow Wikis. Another one is Joe Ant. Another one is Business DB. D as in David, B as in boy. Another one is Zipper Pages. Another one is Yellow Page City. Another one is Yellow One. Another one is where.com. Another one is US Yellow Pages. Another one is Thumbtack. Here's another one. Think Local. Here's some more. Seek It Local. Seek. S-E-E-K. Seek It Local. Another one. Rate It All. Another one. Radar Frog. R-A-D-A-R Frog. F-R-O-G. Another one. Power Profiles. Another one, Patch. Another one, My Web Yellow. Another one, Like List. Another one, Just Click Local. Another one, Hello Metro. Another one, Gig Park. Another one, Chirp. I'll spell that one for you. C-H-E-R-R-P. Another one, Boulevards. another one, all the local, and the last one I'm going to share is Jigsaw. So now, if you don't have your schools listed in those various directories, then you need to get busy. And I'm going to strongly encourage that you get those, at least get those up and running with your school. Now, as I stated, I did not give you the top ones. Actually, what I'll share is there's like a power 10 that if you got the power 10, you probably are going to be doing just fine. But there's some specific things that you need to do with these directories. Every business, every directory you want to have, especially the power 10 that I'm going to be sharing at the event, you want to make sure that you have completely optimized the listing that you have when you're going in and filling out that citation. So it's critical that you, and when you hear me say completely optimized, I mean completely optimized. Meaning, if they allow you to upload 5 pictures and you upload only 4, you have not completely optimized. Meaning, if they allow you to upload 1 video and you haven't uploaded a video, you have not completely optimized. Meaning, if there is a description area that you can put on there and it lets you give 500 words to describe what your school is about, and you only have a 200-word description, you have not completely optimized. So there are a number of different things that means complete optimization, and of course I'll be going in depth at the event. But some of the things other things that you want to make sure that you're doing overall, and I'm moving away from citations because I feel like I beat that one up. Another key thing that you want to do is it's very vital that you start to get your students as well as prospective students to get signed up with a Gmail account and get sign up on Google+, because that's the way that they'll be able to give you reviews. Now, it's critical for a couple things regarding reviews. Now, obviously, if you're the school owner, you have an extreme amount of control in terms of your students. And you could give the command, hey, I want everybody to go out there and write a review in Google+, and I want it done today. Now, the negative of that is that does not come across as organic. If Google sees that 40 reviews show up in one day, that doesn't come across like, that comes across like somebody spamming. And you're really probably going to hurt yourself more than you're going to help yourself. So I would recommend that you do it in a systematic fashion and do, 3, 4 a day over a set amount of time until you have everybody giving you a review, and then just keep that type of review process going. Now, technically, you're not allowed to solicit reviews. To that, I say bullshit, because the reality is this. Anytime somebody wants to say something positive about you, and if you say, hey, would you share that digitally? That's basically, in Google's mind, as well as some of the other review sources, they call that solicitation. I call that business. Meaning, if you're willing to share something positive, if that person is willing to share something positive with you face to face, and if you say, hey, would you be kind enough to write that down? Would you be kind enough to put that online? That's not soliciting. That's just saying, convey it in another way. So I'm going to strongly encourage you to put together some systems, and I'll be talking about how to do that at the event. But you can start putting together some ways to systematically start creating reviews on Google+, as well as some of the other different review sites that are out there. And when they're writing reviews, you want to coach them, because keywords in the review has been proven to be helpful in terms of bringing up your Google+ page, your Google+ local page. So what do I mean by keywords in the review? So for example, if somebody was writing a review in Maryland, and if Lloyd was wanting to have the keyword Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in Maryland, then when they're writing their review, he may want to tell them, if you're looking for a great Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in learn Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in Maryland, or in other words, sprinkle in that keyword in the review, then that would be extremely helpful for Lloyd's rankings. So as your students are writing the reviews, make sure they're sprinkling in keywords for your school. So for example, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but you want to have a geotag in that review. Geotag meaning and the example I gave with Lloyd's, it would be Maryland. So it's not just Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, it's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in Maryland, because that's where he's physically located. And this is all about Google plus local, and Google's algorithm will pick up on the local geo connotations of Maryland, or if you could say, in Lloyd's case, he might say Camp Springs, or he might say some of the other surrounding areas specifically in the reviews, and that has been proven to be helpful. So that's very, very important. Another thing is, and I touched on this earlier within the reviews, and that is this: 72% of consumers trust reviews. Now think about that for a second. They have no idea who wrote the review. They don't know if this guy is a hack or if this guy is legit. But 72% of consumers in a recent survey said they trust reviews. And 52% said positive reviews make them more likely to use a specific local business. Now, I hope you heard those numbers, and I hope you understand the power of reviews and how that can significantly put money in your pocket, as well as significantly take money away from your pocket and go to your competitor. Because if they've got, if all things are equal and they've got 5 reviews and you've got 2 reviews, and one of your reviews is negative and one of your reviews is positive, 50% of your reviews are negative. And if your competitor has 5 reviews, and even if the reviews aren't overwhelmingly positive, but they don't have any negative, then that's a tipping point for the person to go to that other school versus your school. So it's very, very, very important to have a handle on having a system to put together reviews and make sure that those reviews that are coming through are positive. And as you can imagine, I will be sharing some great information on that particular topic. Going back to why I said also why you want to spread out the reviews versus get a whole bunch at once, is Google's algorithm has a freshness factor to it. Fresh meaning this is most recent. So as you're sprinkling the reviews out over time, it is going to be more powerful for you than if you put them all up at once, because of the way that Google's algorithm is picking up on the freshness aspect. So, and I will also say this: Yelp is a very, very important factor in local marketing, Yelp.com. And Yelp has an algorithm that absolutely weeds out fake reviews. So it's very important. You can have a legitimate review. These can be real review people on Yelp, and Yelp will not show that review if you end up getting an influx of reviews when you haven't had any at all. So you want to build it up organically. So if you don't have any reviews on Yelp, you'll want to have like 1, maybe 2 in a week. And then the next week build up 2, maybe 3, and spread out over time. So that's very, very important for it to come across as organic, because Yelp is frankly like Nazis when it comes to their reviews. Another key thing is with reviews, although Google did say very recently that it is okay for people to write reviews from the computer at your school. In other words, from the exact same IP. That's a very recent change. I personally still am not overly comfortable with it. I feel as though that there will probably be people that will game that system, and I think it'll probably not have the same power as if it came from a separate IP or a separate source. And the easy solution to that is most people have smartphones. So I'm going to encourage you to probably have people write reviews on their smartphone while they're there and show it to you. I'm going to encourage you to have people write reviews on their iPad, and maybe have them do it when they're at home on their computer or on their iPad, so it's not bouncing off of your IP. Now, does that mean you can't have some people write reviews utilizing your IP at your school? No, I'm not saying that. You can have some, but I'm just going to say don't have all of them, because I think that leaves a bad signature in terms of Google's artificial intelligence, the machine learning that they have going on right now, it's crazy how sharp that they're getting and progressively getting smarter and smarter. So too many, too fast, all coming from the same IP is a red flag, and that'll come back and hurt you. Okay, switching gears again on some things that you can do right now before you come to the event that's going to help you get the maximum from the event, as well as help you start to get some results with your Google Plus Local. And that is to optimize the images that you're putting on your Google Plus Local page. Optimized meaning you want to rename the pictures, the images, utilizing geo-specific names as well as keywords that you're trying to rank for. Once again, it goes back to like what I was saying in the reviews. If it was Lloyd, if he would put up a picture of one of his students, then he may want to rename that image as a keyword that he's trying to rank for. Let's say if it's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in Maryland, and by virtue of naming that picture and loading that picture up on the Google Plus page, then that Google Plus Local page, then that will absolutely have an effect on his rankings. If all the pictures are optimized, keyword optimized, as well as geo-tagged in terms of location as far as where you're trying to optimize, that will definitely help you. Another big key is the exact same thing with videos. Rename your videos. If you're going to shoot a video, don't put it up there and let it just be some random name .mp4. Name it with a geo-specific keyword that you're trying to rank for, as well as the actual keywords that you're trying to rank for. So it ties right back into the exact same way as far as the image or the picture. Lloyd might name a video Maryland Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu versus just uploading the video with some kind of random name that it comes up with on its own. It's very important that you have geo-specific keywords as well as keywords that you're trying to rank for on your site. Very, very important. Okay, I've got a couple more things here that I want to share in terms of helping you start to rank right away with your Google Plus Local page. Obviously, you want to have your Google Plus Local page completely optimized. And right now on your Google Plus Local, you cannot upload video. But you can go into your dashboard, the exact same dashboard that you had with your Google Places page, and you can upload videos, you can upload pictures there, and you need to make sure if in your region, if they allow you to have 10 photos, you need to make sure all 10 photos are geo-specific and keyword named. You need to make sure that if you're allowed to have 5 videos, then you need to make sure all 5 videos, that you have all 5 videos first and foremost, and that they're all named with geotags and keywords. Very, very important. As well as the description of the video, you want to have a keyword in there. Now, I'm not saying keyword stuffing. Please don't misinterpret what I'm saying, because if you keyword stuff, that'll hurt you. Keyword stuffing means, if back to the example I gave with Lloyd's, if Lloyd named his picture Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in Maryland, Maryland Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, that's the same thing. That's keyword stuffing, and he's just being redundant, and Google would penalize him for that. But he could name one picture Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in Maryland. He could name another picture MMA in Maryland. He could name another picture weight loss in Maryland. All these different things that he might be trying to rank for in his area. And that's what you would do for your videos as well as your pictures. So when you're in the dashboard of your Google Plus Local, which once again is the exact same dashboard of the Google Places page, you can still put all that information in there, even though it may not be currently showing up on your Google Plus Local page, because Google will still give that credence in terms of rankings for your Google Plus Local page. Hopefully that's making sense to you there. That's a very, very, very key thing. And there is a way for you to, right now it's not working, but there is a way for you to upload pictures directly from the web. When you go in through your dashboard, you will see the option to upload pictures or get pictures from the web. If you're going to use that route, right now it's not working. But I encourage you to keep going back and checking for when it does work, because just a few days back it was working. Google has not said that they're going to stop it permanently, but I think when the transition occurred, there's been some hiccups going on when they transition from Google Places to Google Plus Local. So now the little tip that I'm about to share with you is not currently working. But like I said, go back in and try it from time to time, because when it does work, it's a powerful thing. And that is this. Upload your photos to panoramio.com. Google owns that. Panoramio.com. Once you've uploaded those pictures, you can get a link to that picture of panoramio.com. I've already told you one way to optimize your images. At the event, I'm going to be going in depth into some really deep, dark, cool, slick ways to optimize pictures. Matter of fact, we had a really cool call for Google's for Lloyd's highest level coaching group. I believe it was platinum or titanium, whatever, which one it is. But I shared with them some cutting edge stuff, and I know you could almost hear their mouth watering on what it was I was sharing with them, because I can tell you, no other school owners out there other than Lloyd's highest ranking folks at this point in time have this information. And Lloyd has given me permission to share some of that stuff at the upcoming event. And I'm telling you, it makes a difference fast. Matter of fact, one of my clients, I did this one trick. And I shouldn't call it a trick. I should call it a method, a system. And immediately, within one day, 5 of his pictures started ranking on the first page of Google for images alone. And that's powerful, because then I have those pictures linked back to his site, and we got the site converting. It's a powerful, it's a wonderful thing. Trust me on that one. It's a wonderful thing. So back to Panoramio. What you do is you optimize the picture, you upload it to panoramio.com, and then you get the link from panoramio.com, and then you input that where it says upload from the web versus from your computer within your dashboard of your Google Plus Local. And then that way you're getting like a double hit. You get the power of the Panoramio Google property as well as the Google Plus Local property. And that's the way that you want to ideally populate your images for your Google Plus Local. Now, once again, don't send Lloyd an email. Don't come up to me and say, hey, Thad, I tried that, it didn't work, because I already told you, as of right now, it's not currently working. It did used to work. I'm expecting that it is going to work again, but it is a powerful, powerful, cool way to get some very, very neat rankings going for your Google Plus Local. Now, let me give you just a couple other key tips, and it's off page in terms of Google Plus Local, and then I'm going to have to wrap this up, because right now Lloyd is probably tapping his finger and telling me to hurry up, because this has gone way longer than I'm supposed to. But I hope you don't mind. I gave you some little bit of extra stuff there, because I like to under promise and over deliver. And I can tell you right now, what the stuff I'm going to be talking about at the event, I mean, it's going to be some really cool ninja stuff that you're going to absolutely love. So a couple other things I want to share here real quick. In terms of your actual website, you need to make sure that it has geo-specific keywords that are the same type of things that you're putting on your images, as well as the same type of things that you've put into your Google Plus Local. So you have a congruent message from your actual website to your Google Plus Local. Very, 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 very important. Another very, 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 very important thing is, and Lloyd's probably right now saying, stop telling him so much, Dad. Stop telling him so much. I'm sorry, Lloyd. I can't help myself. Just give you this one other big tip here. When you sign up with your Google Plus page and you have your Google Plus profile, you need to make sure that you've connected your Google Plus profile to your actual website, because that's a key component that goes back to that authorship that I was talking about. Okay, Lloyd, I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop. I gave a bunch of information. That type of information I already gave right there. That last tip I just gave right there is a very, very, very powerful tip also. So make sure you do that. So a little bit more information, and I'm going to be stopping here. So here's some of the reasons why I'm going to strongly encourage you to come to the event, because I'm going to be revealing secrets like this. For example, some more of the white hat image promotion strategies that I've talked about here already, but I'm also going to give you some sneaky, almost black hat stuff too that you're really going to love. I'm also going to be sharing some little known ninja tricks on how to further optimize your pictures as well as your YouTube. And some of the stuff we're going to be talking about with your YouTube channel and your videos, I know right now no other school owners are out there are doing, with the exception of some of Lloyd's highest level coaching groups, because they get this stuff before everybody. But I'm telling you, this stuff is very, very powerful, including some of the promotion tips. I'm also going to talk about some cool, creative, geo-specific video optimization that you can do literally right there at the event very, very quickly and start getting some real quick results. I'm going to be talking also about some hidden gems of ways that you must utilize your off-page optimization. And what I mean by off-page optimization, I mean off your Google Plus's local page, meaning some things that you must have on your actual website in order for this whole dance to become a symphony and for it to work to this optimal for you to get the highest rankings with Google Plus Local. I'm also going to be talking with you I'm going to share some little known backlink resources. I'm going to reveal some of my secret sources to quickly and efficiently claim local citation directories. And you're going to walk away with new knowledge of how to do a really cool way to easily create what I've coined a super vanity URL. Now, and this is mainly for your social media. Most people who have a Facebook, they'll have like facebook.com/ and then the name of your page. And that's how you're promoting your Facebook page, whatever. So for example, it'd be better if, for example, if your school's name was Team Lloyd Irvin, then you may want to prefer to have your Facebook page be on your business cards, or when you're promoting it in media, you might want to say teamlloydirvin.com/ Facebook. And by virtue of that particular link, they now go to your Facebook fan page or whatever page you want them to go to. So what this is doing, so it's teamlloydirvin.com/ Google+. And what this basically is doing, it's promoting your own brand versus promoting Facebook brand first, or YouTube's brand first, or Google Plus's brand first. This is a really neat thing. It's working right now, and I think you're really going to like it. And I call it, once again, a super vanity URL. It's really neat. I'll talk about that. I'm also going to be talking about a wicked cool free way to spy on your competition and see why they're ranking higher than you, and show you what you may be able to do to start ranking higher than they do. Matter of fact, on this one little super cool free trick, you'll probably want to hit yourself in the head and ask yourself, why in the world didn't I think of that before? And I'm going to be sharing that exact tip at the upcoming event. Plus, I'm going to be sharing 10 things you must do right away if you haven't started to do already in order to be ready for the big local changes that are coming, because I'm telling you, there's even more changes coming down the pipeline. So you're either going to have to ride the wave, or you're going to get buried under the wave and drown under the wave, because for sure, I'm telling you, Google Plus Local is only the start of this tsunami of changes that are going to hit as far as local businesses are concerned. And soon, what you'll have is the cutting edge. For those of you who come to the event, you'll have the cutting edge information that Lloyd and I have been masterminding about. I'm going to be talking to you some about the #1 best and fastest ways to get up-to-date, accurate, concise information that you can start to implement right away and get fast, measurable, noticeable, positive changes for your school super fast. I'm also going to be sharing tons more information. For example, I'm going to be revealing the proven 5 ranking factors that you must have to get the most influence for your Google Plus local rankings page. And you may just be surprised what these top 5 things are. And I've got some stuff that only Lloyd's private inner circle have been told about. And when I told Lloyd's private inner circle this information, Lloyd said this stuff is so important. He wants to make sure that I share this type of information at the event, because it's probably one of the most influential money-making or money-taking things that you may feel you have no control over, but I'll be revealing some absolute blow your mind stuff on how to take the driver's wheel back in your own hands, getting complete and total control of this potential devastating or potentially powerful positive internet craze. In fact, just this one thing alone will be worth your price of admission, and it's that big of a deal. Just this one thing alone that I'm going to be talking about. It'll be worth the price of admission for the entire event. I promise you, it's that big of a deal. In other words, if you do just this one thing, then the money is going to flow like water out of a faucet. But if you get this one thing wrong, it can literally put you out of business. And this one thing, it's getting bigger and bigger and more powerful every day, and there's literally no end in sight. So, with that kind of build-up, do you want me to give you a hint of what I'm talking about? Do you? Well, hell no, I'm not telling you. Are you crazy? Do you know what Lloyd would do to me if I told you that information? But I will be sharing it for sure at the event. So make sure that you're at the event, because I am telling you, it's worth the plane ticket. It's worth the hotel stay. It's worth the price of admission. Just this one thing that I'm going to be talking to you about. I'd love to tell you, but like I said, Lloyd would kick my ASSS, and if I let the cat out of the bag on this one. But I will tell you, when you understand the importance of what I'll be sharing, and then you'll see exactly how it is that you can take the bull by the horns, you're going to be begging me not to let any of your competition get this information so that you can keep it all to yourself. And I guarantee you that thing. So, if you've ever been to any of Lloyd's events before, if you've seen me speak at any of his events, then you really know that it's a big seminar that contains several little seminars within, because each speaker always brings absolute gold nuggets of information. And I can assure you that your hands are going to be cramping from taking notes on all the stuff that I'm going to be sharing. But here's a big word of warning. A big word of warning for you. Be sure to bring your 5-hour energy drinks, because I'm going to be sharing in such a fast and furious way, because I have so much information. I'm telling you right now, the amount of information that I have that I could share with you literally could be a 3, 4, maybe a 5-day seminar. It's that much information. But I'm going to compact it down to the actual concentrate of the most important nuggets that you need to have in order to prepare your school for local marketing and Google Plus local. So that you need to be at this event, because if you're not at the event and your competition is there, then frankly, with the information that I'm going to be sharing, it literally is going to be enough for them to choke you out of the local market. Don't let that happen. Don't let that happen. Invest in your future, and I look forward to shaking your cramping hand from taking so many notes at Lloyd's upcoming event. Thanks so much for watching this. I hope you got some great information, and I promise you, I'm not going to let you down. You need to come to this event. You'll be sorry if you don't, and people are going to be coming up to you and saying you should have been there. Don't let yourself be in the coulda, woulda crowd. Get yourself there. No matter what you have to do, it's going to pay for itself. Great talking with you. Have a great day.